We're back live, folks. Come on in. That's what happens when you have Wi-Fi problems and people calling you. You get it back again. Go to my Facebook and reshare it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Oklahoma right now with college basketball. I guarantee you'll get a text message like, what happened to the podcast?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so are we back now?
We should be back
Is
now.
it good? Oh, the flash.
The flash is off, but we're still good.
All right.
Let me go back. Make sure we're looking good. We should be sharing. Let me sit down. All right, guys. We're back here with the podcast. We're talking about Oklahoma.
Okay.
Now, you said, go ahead.
All right, yeah, so I'll continue with Oklahoma. You know, they're a solid team. They're a dangerous team. Would not want to play them in the tournament. I definitely think they get in, though, because despite their 6 straight losses, despite the fact that they're 2-9 in their last 11 games, their upcoming schedule, home against Kansas State, easily, that should be a win. At Baylor's kind of tough, but winnable. And then they're home against Iowa State, another very winnable game. I think they rebound a little bit down the stretch of this season. I think, they're coming off a 30-point loss to Kansas. That could be a wake-up call. Like, hey, we got to start playing. Trae Young can't do it all. We got to help him out a little bit.
So it frustrates me because this team was so hot a couple weeks ago when they were beating these teams early on in the Big 12, and the Big 12 was coded as the number one conference in college basketball, but they're top-heavy. They have, in my opinion, a couple teams that can go far. I don't think Oklahoma can go far. You stop Trae Young, you stop the team.
Yeah.
And then I look at their rankings, and the only reason why they were still ranked going into last week is because they had early on wins. But you had 9 losses. Now you're at 11 losses.
Yeah.
And they don't scare me. If I was going to play them first round as any team that won a conference, absolutely give me Oklahoma. You put your best defender on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll stop Trae Young and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they could easily be beaten the first round. But I would just say, if he pops off for 40. You never know what's going to happen. That's the only thing.
You look at the standings right now, they are 6-9 in the Big 12.
Right.
Second to last. They've even lost to Iowa State and Oklahoma State, the 2 worst teams in Big 12. So It blows my mind that a team that's 16-11, yeah, sure, they had early on wins, but you got to look at a whole resume, not just the early on resume that you saw Trae Young shine in. Yeah, sure, they had some big wins, but then you look at the last couple games, they've looked horrible. They lost 30+.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they get into the tournament, though.
No, you do.
Yes, definitely think they get into the tournament. And I also think, my friend earlier actually said ESPN may have a little, or not ESPN necessarily, but the committee may have a little bit of bias putting them in for the market value of Trae Young.
Yes.
Like, they've been talking about him all season long. He may win Player of the Year, probably will. It's a tough person to leave out of the tournament, you know what I'm saying?
I understand that. I look at Keita Bates-Diop. Yes, I'm a little biased being here in Columbus and loving the Buckeyes. But if you look at the resume Ohio State had last year to this year, sure, Trae Young's a freshman, and people in the NBA are talking highly about him. But look at the turnaround what the program is in Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was a Final Four team last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It blows my mind to see they've won 2 games the last 11.
Right.
They're bad right now.
Well, when they had Buddy Hield, they were really good.
Yeah.
And then when they lost him, it was like they weren't that good. So it seems to me like they just have one guy. The rest of the team isn't that good.
Yep.
They have a good coach, Lon Kruger, but it's a little... maybe they have to do a better job recruiting depth-wise because you can't just have one guy control your team, especially in college.
So what happens if they do get in? What do they get in, the 9-8 seed?
It depends.
A 10?
It depends what they do in the Big 12 tournament because if, let's say they get bounced in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, then they're really a bubble team. They may get in as like a 10-11.
Okay.
But if, let's say they make a great run in the Big 12 tournament, then all of a sudden they're hot again. It's all about being hot.
Yes.
Then I could see them getting like a 6-7.
Having 11 losses as a 6-7 seed, that's amazing. And that means they're not losing anymore because that means they're going to win the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
I think they'll have a minimum of 13 losses. I think
you think so?
The game at Baylor, they play at Kansas State Saturday. Then at Baylor Tuesday. That's the game I can see them lose, if not the Iowa State game to finish off the year.
Yeah.
And then they're going to lose. I don't think they have a chance of winning the Big 12 tournament.
We'll see. I'm going to say they go 2-1 down the stretch. I think they may lose at Baylor, but they're going to beat Kansas State and Iowa State at home. And then I think they could definitely win a couple games in the Big 12 tournament.
So they could even be sitting at 19-14 going into the tournament. I mean, I know people will be
interesting.
It'll be very interesting to see where they get put at and if they can even win a game in the tournament. For sure. I mean, obviously, Trae Young. People are going to text you, tell them to look at the new video.
Yeah, I don't know. Two people are watching.
Yeah, you can just say, hey, guys, go to the new one.
I'm going to let them know, yeah.
But in my opinion, you look at it, it's like, can Trae Young shine like Steph Curry did? I mean, that's what everyone wants to do.
In the NBA?
Well, just in the NCAA tournament. The way that's how Steph was drafted was because he went off like that in the time to shine. Trae Young will get drafted regardless, but we shall see.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a high pick.
Yes.
But I think the Steph Curry comparisons are a little much right now.
Way too much.
Yeah, I think more like maybe high upside, maybe Devin Booker. I know Booker's playing really well, but I think they could be similar a little bit.
All right, now let's go to the Big Ten.
Okay, sounds good.
The conference that everyone here in the Midwest loves.
Absolutely.
Everyone outside the Midwest loves to hate.
Yep, very true.
The Buckeyes are back.
Yeah, I mean, they were struggling mightily. They lose at Penn State, get blown out. And I was surprised because I figured revenge game, they come out, they play really well, but it's tough to win on the road.
Yeah.
Tough to win on the road. Tony Carr and Shep Garner from Penn State shot the lights out of the ball from three. Unbelievable. And they blew the doors off of Ohio State. That's just how it is. Then they go to Michigan. I'm not surprised they lost that game because
tough. Again, on the road games.
And Michigan's a good team. Michigan's definitely a good team. Tough place to play. They hate Ohio State clearly.
It's rivalry.
Yeah, but I will say Ohio State was in that game. I know they lost by like 10. It was like a 4 or 5 point game for most of it. It was totally up in the air. I think Ohio State coming out last night on senior night, big time win over an inferior Rutgers team, but still 27-point win. You know, good all around performances. I was impressed.
The biggest part I took away from the game last night, Cam Williams. The energy he brought to the building I have not seen in a long time with the shot. I mean, we're going back to Aaron Kraft days.
Okay.
Long before you even thought of Ohio State as your college. Now, what Cam can do, thank goodness he's back. I mean, I'm so happy for him to be back. He was very excited to be on the court, was making 3-pointers. But that's what Ohio State has missed in the past years, is we didn't have an outside game. Mm-hmm. We had these plays set up like that, which we weren't getting the ball down low. We have Caleb Wesson playing great. Mm-hmm. As long as he keeps his ankles healthy, we'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
You got Keita Bates-Diop, the best player on the court at any time he's playing, unless he's going against a Trae Young. Mm-hmm. Give him the ball, he can drive. But then you have sharpshooters outside that changes the game. It means you have to play out on the perimeter, and if you could somehow get a give and go, they're going to be in for layups all day. You have Caleb Wesson playing big down low like a Jared Sullinger. I'm excited right now. We had the very emotional win at Purdue a couple weeks ago, which I was mind-blown we even won that game. Years past, that team loses that game 9 out of 9 games. Mm-hmm. We finally get the win in Purdue. Then we falter a couple games in a row. Penn State on the road, we don't have to remember this here. Just face the facts. It's okay. You're going to lose games in college basketball, especially conference road games at this time of year.
Very true.
That's why I was so happy with January. The schedule we had, it was all home games.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to wake up in your bed at home knowing, okay, I'm playing in front of my crowd. The refs are going to be a little bit on our side. You go on the road at a hostile environment like Penn State, who's getting hot at the right time. They've lost 2 games since beating us, but they're right in the bubble in 19-11.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I think Penn State should definitely get in. They're clearly a dangerous team. They have a bunch of upperclassmen that could ball out. And, you know, they lost to Purdue, but it was 76-73 at Mackey Arena in Purdue. I mean, Purdue's a really tough place to play. The win that Ohio State has was incredible. But Penn State's a really good team. I definitely think they should be a March Madness team for sure. And you're right about Ohio State. Another player that really played well last night, C.J. Jackson. He actually came off the bench last night because Andrew Dockich, you know, properly honored for senior night. Yes. But C.J. Jackson played great. And he's been a good shooter this year, but yesterday he was driving and hitting floaters. He hit about 6 floaters. Yes. He had like 18 points. Very impressed with the way he played. And you are exactly right. I will tell you, last night, Keita Bates-Diop did not play that great. Jayshawn Tate did not play that great. But guys that played great, Cam Williams and C.J. Jackson. If C.J. Jackson and Cam Williams play great, along with Keita Bates-Diop doing what he should and Jayshawn Tate doing what he should, Buckeyes will be hard to beat. Hard to beat.
It blows my mind. If you look at this team last year, the same team besides Dockich, I mean, that's just given us a whole different boost. This team played the first day of the Big Ten tournament and lost to Rutgers.
Yeah.
They're going to be getting a double bye with the likes of Purdue, who's in the top 10, Michigan State, who's top 2 right now, and probably Michigan, who's ranked in the top 20.
Yeah.
I mean, these are teams that are going to be very good come tournament time. Michigan was a team that was pretty much a buzzer beater away from going to the Final Four last year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I will say, though, Doncic has been really important.
Yes.
A huge difference is Keita Bates-Diop being healthy.
Yes.
Gets hurt last year. You know, he was actually a 5-star coming out of high school.
Yes.
Him, D. Russell,
Illinois.
and Jay Sean Tate. And, you know, took a little time for Keita Bates-Diop, but clearly blossomed into an incredible player.
Absolutely.
I think should be a first-round draft pick.
He's still not staying, though.
I mean, listen, if he stays, that would be incredible for Ohio State basketball. Next year, it's going to be interesting because, you know, program's back, but they're losing Jay Sean Tate. Definitely their emotional
leader.
leader.
Recruits, though. Finally, we're getting recruits in the state of Ohio that we have not
Correct.
seen in a long time.
Definitely true. They're going to be young, though, which is the only reason why I'm a little nervous. I think Holtman keeps it together, though. I think he's doing a great job. I think they'll be just very, very solid next year. But if Keita Bates-Diop came back, that would be huge. The only way I see him coming back, though, is if his draft stock isn't in the first round. If he's in the second round, I can see him coming back.
He's late first right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
You give him another year, if Chris Holton brings him in and says, hey, listen, you've done enough here for this program, thank you, go do your thing, like Calipari usually tells his boys.
Right.
Then go. But if not, if you think, if Chris can see more improvement from Keita Bates-Diop, stay with us.
Oh, well,
he's not a limelight guy, though. He likes Ohio. He loves Ohio State, likes the attention.
Humble.
Very humble, very humble guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Keita Bates-Diop has a ton of potential, but I definitely think another year of college would help him. With some of those guys leaving, he would be the guy. So, like, well, I mean, he's the guy now, but he would even be more so the guy. And, you know, I would think he would want to be a lottery pick. But I will say, he was injured last year.
Yeah.
A lot of times when guys are injured and they're healthy again, playing well, they want to get the money. They want to go to the league to help their families out, and you really can't blame him at all. And also something interesting, he was honored last night. That was a little interesting. And even after the game, the whole student section was chanting 1 more year. And he was like all like happy, and he was like, all right, slow down, slow down. He may know he's leaving just because, you know, he wanted to be honored last night, and they want to honor him so that if he does leave, they honor him. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it would be a little weird if he came back. What, would they honor him again? I mean, it would just be interesting.
They would honor him again.
I guess so.
What he did for the program, again, you didn't grow up in Columbus to understand the last 7 years when Thad Matta came in from pretty much 2004 to the end of Aaron Kraft's career, which was, I mean, I would say 2007, 2008 when we got Greg Oden. So it was a 7-year mark from like 2007 to like 2013 when we lost to Dayton. That was like the last year we tipped off. D'Angelo Russell was there for 1 year. We won one game and that was it. But we were expected to win the Big Ten every single year.
Yeah,
What he did for Columbus was bring back the basketball we missed in the late 90s and in the 80s when we were good. We have one national championship in college basketball. And that was back in the 60s. None of us were alive. Mm-hmm. None of us remember those days unless you're a very old historian.
Maybe some of our viewers.
Doubt it. No, doubt it. Absolutely. My dad was born in 1955 and won't remember us winning the national championship. Right. But the thing is, he brought a team back. He brought a team to the national championship in 2007 with Greg Oden. He brought them to multiple Final Four runs. This team has a chance to shock the world. Now, Dan Dockett's older, his father, ESPN analyst, called Ohio State going to the Final Four in the very beginning of the year, preseason. And people came after him. You're crazy. There's no way. You know what? They have a chance. And he even said, slow your horses down. I called Michigan going to the Final Four last year, and again, they were a buzzer beater away. Yeah,
I mean, for sure, that would be a crazy pick by Dockage. I'd say they definitely have the potential to go to the Final Four, but they could also get bounced in the first round.
They can.
Oh, yeah. They could definitely get bounced in the first round. It depends on the matchup. They need to come to play. They like to start. They don't like to, but they start off slow a lot of times. They always
do. No, they do like to start.
You can't start off slow in the tournament because in the tournament
it's all runs.
Right, exactly. And a team, you know, everybody's dancing, everyone's excited. All of a sudden, team starts. They have you up 10-15. They want to keep dancing. They're not going to give up that lead. Yep. So you have to come out ready to play. And I think the leadership on the team, Tate, Dockage, Cam Williams, Holtman, you know, Keita Bates-Diop, that's going to prove huge in the tournament.
March Madness is a special time for everyone around America to watch college basketball at its finest. You get these teams, again, myself going to Ohio University, a small MAC school. I never experienced it, but when a team like that gets in, the campus surrounds the team. They all support them. These players are right on cloud 9. They all got in the back of their mind, I'm going to be Steph Curry. I'm going to go off for 30 points a night, get my team to the second weekend, and then I'm possibly get drafted. Yeah, they're of course going to ball out to the best of their ability. And if Ohio State comes in there nonchalant, it could be a very short march for them.
Yeah, for sure. And they need to come focused. They need to win at Indiana. That's not an easy game. Indiana's a tough place to play. They're 12-5 at home this year. I think Ohio State really needs to come focused. They need to get a road win because they were starting off the year really well on the road, and then all of a sudden they were slack in the last couple games. I think they win like 68-63. So I think it's closer than people think.
So this weekend's the last true road game of our season.
Correct.
The Big Ten, don't ask me why. We start the Big Ten tournament a week before everyone else does. Mm-hmm. Another big question mark that I have. So the Big Ten is now playing in Madison Square Garden a week before the Big East plays their tournament in Madison Square Garden. Then we have a whole week off, though. We get to watch everyone play basketball. Is that going to affect Ohio State in moving forward? It doesn't affect any Big Ten school. It's not just Ohio State. That's an even part for the Michigan States, the Michigans, and the Purdues of the world.
Yeah, I actually think it would help. I don't think rust would be a huge issue because, like, you're going to be practicing. You're going to get more time to rest bodies. We have some guys that play big minutes, especially a guy like C.J. Jackson. He cramps up almost every game because he plays so many minutes, and it's tough on his legs. But I think that week off could actually prove to help us. I don't think it necessarily is a huge deal, though. I think momentum in the tournament will prove much more. Like, if Ohio State gets bounced in the first round of the tournament, that's going to hurt us. If we make a run, that is what helps us.
Yeah, no, if you get the team usually that wins the Big Ten is the highest team usually coming in because I love the top of the Big, and they're playing the best teams possible. So, but the week off we have going into this year could be huge. In my opinion, we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I'm excited. Again, Ohio State basketball's back for the first time in a long time.
Oh, yeah. It's back. I'm telling you, it's back.
And if we can somehow get a win and move on to the round of 32, and whenever we play and get into the next weekend, the sky's the limit for this team.
Oh, yeah,
Put the team on Caleb Bates D up and Caleb Weston down low and let them maneuver.
One thing you said there is big, though. Team on Caleb Bates D up's back. Now, the guys around him have to play. Yeah. I talked about that before in terms of guys around Trae Young. But Caleb Bates D up's so humble, needs to be more of a star presence on the floor. He's so good. He needs to know he's so good and act like he's so good. He seemed, whenever Ohio State seems to be slacking, they have some scoring droughts. I'm looking up, I'm like, where's Caleb Bates Diop? He needs to be aggressive. No matter how bad he's shooting the ball on a certain day, he needs to keep shooting because Ohio State will not go anywhere if he's not putting up big games.
Well, the biggest game of, in my opinion, where you saw Caleb Bates Diop shine and realize how good he was when we played Penn State the first time. Okay. He had a horrible game in the very beginning, and then towards the end of the game, he realized, okay, I got to put the team on back. We're going to lose our first game. We ended up losing it, but he scored the last 9 points.
Right.
Had 3 unbelievable 3-pointers in a row, which should have put us into overtime. We would have won the game in overtime 100%. There's no way we lose that game. It takes them a full court or half court prayer to win the game.
Off the backboard.
Bank was open, I guess, that day.
Yeah.
But I guess Chris Holtzman will sit him down and said, listen, for us to go far, you have to play well.
Oh, yeah. I think Jayshawn Tate's a big factor, too. He needs to be aggressive. He needs to drive. Oh, yeah.
The upperclassmen need to take control of this team. Absolutely. So, again, this is Sam Block joining us here at the table for his first time joining the JV podcast and the seat at the table.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we have you on again.
Oh, yeah. I would love to come back for sure.
Awesome.
Love it here.
We have March Madness right around the corner. Big Ten tournament starts next week. Are you going?
I'm not going because I'll be at school at Ohio State, but I would love to go. It's right in my backyard, Madison Square Garden.
You can see the parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I see your mom is watching us here, so gotta give her a great shout out. Guys, again, go check out our website, seatattheT.com. That is seat, like we're sitting in, at the T, as in letter T, table.com. We have great articles coming. We're regrouping down at Ohio University, getting all of our writers. I'm going to take control up here in Columbus, and hopefully Sam starts writing for us. You get some of your buddies.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. I'm hoping to come on board and really be a lethal component here.
You are, absolutely. Well, Sam Block coming out of New Jersey, big time, big fan on Twitter. Again, follow him on Twitter, The Block Spot.
Absolutely.
I love that name.
Absolutely. Follow me. Really appreciate Bobby having me on. A seat at the table. Had a big time. You did great tonight.
I appreciate that.
I think we had good chemistry.
Absolutely.
I think it was a great show. We hope you guys all liked it.
We will put this on YouTube tomorrow, and we'll be on our webpage tomorrow afternoon. So again, check that out, seatattheT.com. Everyone out there, be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.